One, and we're live. Back with another chat. I haven't done a chat in a little bit, but I'm super excited to talk to my boy Kev. I feel like we haven't connected in a while. I feel like we stay connected on Instagram here and there, and I've just been seeing you do your thing, man. Popular chef. You know, very creative in what you do. It's very gourmet, but also you could probably throw down and just, you know, have some just comfort food. But first of all, I had to wear my hat just because my hair's a little jacked up, and it made me think about the chef's hat. And I wanted to get your thoughts if you knew any origins behind the chef hat and why it's that old school like white hat that props up so high. Is there any reasoning why the hat goes so high for a chef?
Man, that's a good question. To be honest with you, I always fucking hated that hat. So, yo, can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Go for it.
Go.
I mean, if your mom or grandmother is watching or something like that, they might text you, but you're free to say whatever you want.
Listen, man, if you want the real chef talk, there's a lot of cursing going on. Nobody's holding your hand in the kitchen, so you might as well strap in. It's going to be a long one today. It's going to be a lot of bombs dropping.
Good.
You know, that hat, to be honest with you, I never even cared to know about that hat, man. Mm-hmm. It's like when I started cooking, they threw that hat on me. You know, of course, it's for hygiene. You don't want to sweat over the place. But then again, it was, you know, in more professional settings, you have to wear that hat. And I fucking hated that thing, man.
Yeah.
That thing, and I threw it off. Honestly, I don't know what it is, to be honest. Very good question, though. You should definitely look it up.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of things have just been passed down from like how it, you know, was back in the day. Like, I'm sure doctors. What were you about to say? I
actually know the answer to that question.
Okay.
Now that you said that, boy, it definitely didn't hit me now. I'm gonna think about it. I will remember it before the show's over.
Well, the only practical reason I see that hat ever being used is when I'm at hibachi and the dude throws the egg into his shit for the show effect. Yeah. But I've never seen, like, I've been in some kitchens and I've watched a lot of like restaurant shows. I've never seen the big joint have any purpose for it besides just looking mad ridiculous on top of a dude's head.
Absolutely. So if you check it out next restaurant you go to, if it's a nice fancy restaurant, you see like the line cooks with that hat on.
Okay.
Executive chef, they never really have that hat on. So I guess it has I can't remember what the purpose of it is, but I'm gonna look it up in a second.
Yeah, there's got to be a reasoning for it. I mean, obviously, I've seen a lot of chefs sort of put their own twist on it, and they wear like a bandana or they get funky with it. What's your go-to like headgear when you're chefing it up?
I rock the bandana, but recently I've been rocking these beanies right here.
That's become more popular, man. Like the 3, 4, like because I can see the functionality of it. It covers your head.
Yeah.
But the point of the hat is to cover the ears for warmth. So it's more of like a style play, but also gets the job done keeping the hair out of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got the baldy on, you know, so I have no worries with hair. But, you know, I think the beanie's a cool look. I'm definitely trying to figure out a super sexy chef look for myself and start running with that. But as of right now, I just got the trifold beanie.
So let's take it a step back first, and I apologize because I didn't really formally introduce you, but Kevin Neal, and we've known each other, I want to say it's been back since, I think we had a Spanish class together in middle school, Albert Leonard.
Yeah, that feels right.
And I don't remember too much about the class. Like, I don't even remember who the teacher was. If it was like a Spanish lady, it could have been a white dude, could have been a black lady. I have no idea. All I remember, it was me, you, and this girl, Catherine, I think her name was.
Yeah, for sure.
And we used to just mess around in that class so much, like on some next level shit. Like, it was like, I want to find out who the teacher was, because it almost feels like every day we were in that class, we were just clowning, getting thrown out, and just not paying attention to whatever the hell was going on in the class.
That's classic, man. You know what's funny, man? Catherine is still the same exact way. Every time she sees me, we got the jokes going, man.
Yep.
Letting them fly. But yeah, that was definitely some good times. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that like that was my last memory of you and her, but you know, I don't really see that through Instagram, but I'm sure you're the same type of dude in the kitchen, like joking, making people laugh, having a good time, because I mean, that's ultimately how we should all be, you know?
That's it, man. You know, somebody told me back in the day, the more laughter you bring in the world, the longer you live.
Yep.
So I live by that, man. I try and laugh and make somebody laugh every single day. In the kitchen, it's 10 times worse. What you don't see behind the doors is nuts. I was shooting I think I was on TV like last week or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the scenes, I'm over here making everybody laugh, dancing and playing around, and then action is like you back on focus. But that's just who I am, you know.
So I try to have the same motto. And I think that's awesome. It's just like laughter, because like at the end of the day, like nothing should be that serious. You know, obviously there's things that, you know, are very serious. You know, someone passes away, you know, you should pay respects and be respectful. But humor should be involved in every aspect, I believe, in our lives, you know? Are there any situations in the kitchen where it does call for some super serious moments that, you know, you got to like chop it back and not really crack a joke or really focus on what you're doing?
So for me, prep time is joke time.
Mm-hmm.
I play around prep time. When it's service time, that's it. There's no more joking around. You know, people want their food, and it's my job to make sure that people on the line are acting accordingly. Because if they think it's a joke and they don't put up the food in a fashionable manner, or they don't put it up with passion and anything's messed up, something's overcooked, I got to send it back. And what people don't understand is the kitchen dynamic is a well-oiled machine. So if one line cook on the saute overcooks something on a table of 6, then we have to redo the whole.
It puts a halt in everything, right?
Everything back, you know. So I definitely like to show everybody I'm cool, and I joke around pre-shift and prep time, but when it's service time, it's go mode, man. I don't play around.
And
you know?
Now, the people you work with in the kitchen, do you have influence on who gets hired, who doesn't get hired, or is it sort of just like you get thrown a team and you got to figure out how to mesh together?
No. So right now, I'm exec chef mode, so I hire and fire people. That's what I do. But a few years ago, I was working with some very talented chefs under their wing as their sous chef. Mm-hmm. And what we would do, myself and the executive chef, we would sit down and we do the hiring pool together. So as of right now, I do it all. I hire and I let them go, and I train them up. So yeah.
let me ask you, and let's take it like a step back, because like I said, my last memory of you was from Spanish class, so I don't really know what transpired really throughout high school for you, throughout, you know, even before high school, your childhood. I know your brother, Chris, because I got a funny story. I was texting him for whatever reason, saying like, "Yo, come on the podcast, come on the pod." I don't know. Did he tell you any of this?
Nah.
Oh, okay, good. Maybe I should keep this story to myself then.
Nah, tell me. Chris is a weirdo, you know?
I mean, he was it was weird because I had started the conversation with you through your Instagram handle, which everybody should definitely check out. And I'm going to spell it out because I feel like if I don't spell it, it's a wrap. Or I'll let you pronounce it, and then I could spell it because I got it written out here.
Okay, go for it. I don't even know how to spell my Instagram.
An exquisite experience.
Yes.
Okay, so it's ANEXQUEEXPERIENCE.
Yeah. An exquisite experience.
Yeah. So I give you props because exquisite's a tough word, man. And
yeah, it's tough. Every time I have to send somebody that handle, I'm like, oh fuck, why not make this shorter?
that was see, this is where it's leading to. It was like, I think I initially started the conversation with your Instagram handle, and I have the worst memory. Plus, Instagram doesn't make it very easy because sometimes you'll search somebody and it doesn't auto-populate for whoever you're looking for.
Yeah.
So we'd started the conversation. I was like, "Yo, like I love what you're doing. I see you on news stations and all the like food stuff you're posting. Like, come talk about it." And you were like, "Yep, let's do it." You were like totally on board right from the beginning. And then I think we just fell out of contact for a couple weeks or whatever. And I reached out to Chris for whatever reason, because I think I saw Neil on Facebook, and I was just like, yo, we doing this podcast? And he was like, yeah, I'm down. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And we were going down the line. I was like, yeah, we'll talk about cooking, food, this and that. He was like, oh, like, that's my brother, but I'm a police officer if you want to talk about, like, any of that stuff. I was like, okay, but my bad. So that's when I reached back out to you, and I was just like, I'm a fucking idiot. So I give your brother mad respect, because, I mean, I didn't go too much further down, but, you know, he did say he was a police officer, so props to him for that. But how many, like, people were in your family? What was your dynamic growing up? Were you involved with food? Like where does the lineage of cooking come from in your family?
It comes from my mom.
Mm-hmm.
My mom. So there's 5 of us total.
Okay.
I followed in my mother's footsteps. When we were in middle school, she had a restaurant on Webster and New Rochelle. She had that for about 9 years.
She had a restaurant?
Yeah, she had a Caribbean restaurant in New Rochelle for
Nice.
about 9 years. So that's where that's actually where I developed a passion for it, you know, actually seeing. When we were much, much younger, we came from Brooklyn, and that era is like cooking in your house and selling to numerous of people. And that's where I got my foot in the door with cooking, with the culinary world. But then when she opened up her own restaurant, it was like, wow, she's actually really doing it. She's supporting the family. She's got a lot of people coming in here that love her food. It doesn't matter where we go in New Rochelle, we're together. They're like, wow, I remember you from Webster. And then they look at me and they say, I remember you from North Avenue, because when I had my restaurant. So that's where it all started, for sure. So
when you say Caribbean food, where in the Caribbean exactly? Like, because my wife's father and my wife's father was born in Guyana.
Okay.
So he's Caribbean and he makes curry all the time, and it is bomb. Like, but there's so many different variations, he explains to me. Like, you know, I mean, I think roti is all the same, but
no.
Oh, is it all different?
Yeah, like the Guyanese, when it comes to roti. All right, my wife is making fun of me today because I like to call it roti, but that's not the proper.
Yeah, that sounds like how I should be saying the shit.
Exactly. But I'm a dick, you know. I don't like pronouncing like everyone else pronounces it. So I call it roti. She's like, yo, that's not how you say it. But Guyana, they make the best roti in the world, hands down. Like nobody can touch their roti skin, their doubles, no matter what it is. They got that hands down. It's like that's one thing that no Caribbean place could match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it got a lot. So my parents are from Barbados. Both of my parents. From that little island where Rihanna came out twerking and stuff from.
And like, so your mom says, you say your mom was like just cooking. So she learned all that on the islands and then brought it over here and just, you know, would cook for you guys and then just opened up a restaurant and it just took off.
Yes. Yeah. So in Brooklyn, that's where she had her base from.
Okay.
So when she came from Barbados, she stayed in Brooklyn, and at that time it's everybody cooking. It's like cooking in your house, cooking on the street, you know. That's like how a lot of people from the islands supported their families. Mm-hmm. So you know, she cooked for hundreds of people at a time.
Wow.
And it was like the door would just, people would come in, they place their orders, and they just leave. So you would see somebody that, honestly, I would never even see her go shopping. I just remember her cooking in the house, and it would be from like 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. And, you know, that's how we were able to get through. Shit, did I just forget your question? Did I even answer your question?
No, I think that works. I mean, I feel like it's just a different outlook here in the U.S. than it is, you know, on islands or overseas. There's just so much more. One, you get blessed with so much more food. So like, when I'm sure your mom was maybe the only person, maybe she had you and your brothers or sister or whatnot, helping her cook, but it was ultimately probably just her.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that I see, and I remember visiting my brother when he lived in DR, and we were looking for food, And it's not like you could just pop into a restaurant and get some food real quick. He was like, we're going to go to this house real quick on the corner. And there's a dude in his kitchen with mad, just big ass pots. And it's just like, let me get a plate of blah, blah, blah. And it's not like you have an option of like, here's a menu. It's just like, I'm cooking up some rice and some chicken shit today. And I'm just going to throw it on the platter for you. And that's what you have. So it's like, you don't even have an option to be a picky eater.
No.
So was it ever like, did you ever have a say in what you were eating, or you almost just had to try everything and, you know, that opened up your palate to just all different types of like flavors and whatnot?
You know, growing up, this is so interesting because I was thinking about this the other day. Growing up, we ate everything. So chicken liver, I hated that thing, right? My mom, we would eat that all the time, right? That I'll touch on three things: chicken liver, oxtails, and let me see, there was something else, right?
You got me on those two right there, man. I would starve myself.
Yeah. So check it out. So I had no idea what it was. So she's giving it to me. I'm loving it, enjoying this stuff, right? But then as I got older, I would tell people like, I'm eating chicken liver today. They're like, what? That's gross. Like, no, like, this is amazing. I'm eating oxtails. Like, what the hell is oxtails? They're like, that's disgusting.
Yep.
You know, I'm like, no, it's really amazing. And as I got a chance to get involved in the culinary scene, it's like people appreciate chicken liver and make a pate out of that, you know, and that's like a nice starter when you go to a very fancy restaurant, you know, or you use the duck liver. It's like, man, my mom was doing this back in the day in the same fashion, but I didn't really understand it. And it came from, you know, the Caribbean side, or the oxtails. To me, oxtails is just the same as braised short rib. You know, I mean, it's not as fatty as short rib, but, you know, it's the same exact concept. How they make it, how they stew it, how they braise it. It's the same exact thing. But do you see being that you almost had an advantage of your mom being like from the roots of the islands and like picking up spices and like ingredients from literally the root of whatever she was making? Do you feel like you almost have an advantage over other chefs? Like, not to discredit like a, you know, just like a regular white or black chef here who was just born in the States, you know, like a dude born in Kansas City or something like that. He might have some banging barbecue or something like that, but he can't have the same knowledge as like your mom, or like his parents could have a great recipe, but it's not some authentic shit from the islands. Do you ever see that like a lot? It's almost, I look at it like this. I see some of these magazines that are like world's like whatever, like world's sexiest man, and it's like Matthew McConaughey or something like that. Just some average, or like just like an average looking dude from the US. I'm like, you need to go to like Brazil, you need to go to like some shit where like you don't even know about, where someone's just chilling, got no worries in the world, has no stress. Then you'll find the best looking dude, or like best looking female or something like that. So you almost feel like there's like an underground world of chefs that have this knowledge from their grandparents or whatever that weren't born in the U.S. that are better chefs than maybe some that get touted out now. Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to, you know,
and sorry if my questions are all over the place, but I guess the point of my question is like, do you almost have an advantage because your mom is straight from the islands as opposed to like, you know, someone whose parents were, you know, born here in the U.S. or whatever like that, being a chef here in the U.S.?
Yeah, I think it did give me a great advantage. You know, when I was coming into the culinary scene, I remember two moments in my life where I had this celebrity chef. He threw a bunch of us in the kitchen, and he's like, I need you to braise this. When not too many people were able to stand forward and say they knew how to do it, I did, because I was able to go back to how my mom braised her meat. You know, so it did give me an edge, or a good advantage, just off of, you know, the technique and the understanding of how to, you know, respect your food and the process really is what it's about.
Yeah.
So I think what a lot of chefs a lot of chef in the industries today different, and where they vary is their respect for the food and where it comes from and how your vegetables are harvested or where your cattle comes from. Like that's what makes a chef, you know, and it differentiates the people who care and who are good and who, you know, are just one of those guys that just got along in, you know, the CIA or some culinary school. Some
Yeah.
fucking shit.
So and,
You know?
and what was your, sorry to keep going back, but what was your path to like actually getting your foot in the door with cooking? So like I said, you were at New Rochelle High School, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
what was your journey through high school when you graduated to really, you know, I know you said you had your mother's restaurant, but where did it really like get ingrained in your mind that you wanted to do cooking and that was what you were going to pursue?
Okay, good question. So one, I never really wanted to cook.
Hmm.
I hated this shit. I like the idea of seeing how my mom worked in a restaurant and how much money she was able to make. That's what I loved. So
Did you look at, sorry to interrupt, but did you look at your mom, like, was she ever, was satisfied, like, that she was serving so many people, that people were coming to her, and you looked at that, like, wow, that looks cool, or was it just like, she's pretty successful, she's making good money, she's providing for us, and that was what you made you think about it?
yeah, it was how she provided for us.
Hmm.
So that's what I wanted. So let's say in high school, how do I do this? It started for me when I had my first job in an Italian restaurant. That's when I said I wanted to do this. Walked into the kitchen. I started out as a busboy. Didn't want anything to do with the back. And it pulled me into the kitchen. Just the camaraderie, how they spoke and how they were able to crush 150 people to 300 in a night.
Wow.
2 weddings upstairs, 100 people downstairs. It's like literally 300 people down there. And at the end of it, some of them are drinking. Some of them are, you know, one person's in the back breaking down a whole deer, and there's 3 people on a line just, you know, really going at it for a whole service. And I'm just standing there, staring at them like a well-oiled machine, and nothing's out of place. Everything is just, you know, running, and that's what made me love the kitchen. Oh shit! Did I freeze up on you?
Yeah, you froze, but I could still hear you. Yep, no,
Okay.
you're good.
So that's what made me really fall in love with the kitchen. So at that point, I might have been, shit, how old was I? This was before I was in high school. This was probably before we met. So it was like maybe, because I was working at an Italian restaurant at, I think, 13 or 14 years old.
Wow.
It was around that time when I was working at that restaurant. So that's when I fell in love with the kitchen, but I still really didn't want to work in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I love the energy, but I wanted to just own a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So as I got into college and I started looking at, you know, what I was going to do in my life, I studied business management, and then I figured I'd just go for it. You know, I had a good amount of savings. I put some cash aside. I just threw it into a restaurant. And one day, my mom, the same chef who was killing it for all those years, one day she got sick, and I had to jump in. So at that point, when I was running, you know, the restaurant, I jumped in, and then it's like everything that I saw over the years just literally clicked, and it developed a hunger for me to want to perfect this burning passion that I had. And that's when it clicked for me. That might have been 2010. And here we are now. What is it? Fucking shit. It's almost 20 years later. Jesus Christ.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I look back on things too, and I'm like, wow, that was like, I'm like, oh, that was not too long ago. And then it really was 10, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
which doesn't feel long when you think about it, but then you really put it in perspective, and you're like, I've been doing this chefing thing for 20 years now.
God damn it. You're right. That scares me.
So
Yeah.
was there anybody when you were coming up, any chefs or anybody on the line that like gave you any advice or anything that like made you say you should do this, you should think about this, or if you want to start your own restaurant, be careful? Because all I hear about restaurants is like it's the toughest thing to do. It's, you know, it's hard to make money. So I give you a lot of props for, you know, being ambitious to just say, you know, I don't even know if you've heard that stuff, but like that's all I've heard ever from the restaurant business. But like, was there anything that stands out on your journey that like you took something from a chef that told you something?
Ooh. Um, the two chefs that really stuck out for me in my whole career, and I worked with a lot of them, but let's see, mentor wise, no, there's just one really old Italian dude. His name was Ernie Bevilacqua.
Hmm.
He had his own restaurant for 75 years in Pelham, New York.
75 years?
Nuts. Yeah, 75 years. Now, that was probably the only person that dropped the most jewels for me in my life until this day. We get together and he calls me his son. Like, that's the only person who really dropped, knowledge on me and gave me game. But other than that, this business is so cutthroat.
Yeah.
In the kitchen, they don't really want to talk to you. They don't really want to give you the game. I worked with a really good chef. Let me see. Let me shout some names. So let me throw some names. I worked with this one chef named Chris. I don't want to say his last name.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was an animal. He opened up like maybe 4 restaurants in Hawaii, hotels and all this stuff. He was big, but he was an animal. Like, he would curse you out. Like, he made Gordon Ramsay look like a schoolgirl.
I've found that with all chefs in any kitchen that I've ever been in.
Yeah, so he was nuts, and I appreciated him because it's like, he did something very incredible for me. When I was working at a restaurant with him and a celebrity chef, Aaron Sanchez, we were in there and I was like climbing the ranks and I was this little bum kid on the line because, working, the experience that I thought I had was nothing when I actually went into the actual real world of cooking. And they tore me down and they built me back up.
Mm-hmm.
So one day they were doing an event for a bunch of celebrities in New York City at Tavern on the Green. Very historical restaurant.
Yeah, of course, I've heard of it.
And he asked me to come with him. And that was like a game-changing moment for me. It's like, he saw some potential in me that I didn't even see within myself. And he allowed me to come and work at this monumental establishment. And that right there was when I saw something within myself that I could be as creative as anyone else. And, it allowed me to, dive into my studies. My wife would tell you there'd be nights where I came home from working a 12-hour shift. I just crack open a book and I just push myself even further to be, the best that I could possibly be.
That's awesome.
When it came to in the culinary world, when I, after my restaurant closed down in 2000, I don't even remember when it closed, but whenever my restaurant closed down, I started working from an executive chef / owner. Then I went out into the workforce and I became a line cook. And then they were just like, do this, do that, do this. And I had no idea what they were talking about, because it was the more, I would say, the professional and the, how do I put it? All right, fuck it. It was, the professional way of doing things. And I had no idea of how to do it.
More structured, I guess.
Yeah, a lot more structure. There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. A lot more structure in it. And I couldn't keep up. And because I started to push myself and I started to respect the craft of the culinary world, I was able to become, in 3 years, I went from a line cook, lead line cook, junior sous chef, executive chef. 3 years.
How is it going from, and there's a little bit of a delay on your mouth, so you got the old Bruce Lee going on right now where you talk and your mouth still moves, but hopefully people just listen. How is it going from being an owner that didn't necessarily have the structure maybe needed to going to starting your own restaurant and then it closing and now going back to the line to learn that structure? Would you almost say that it's been a blessing for you where you're at now to sort of see that process, or
like I would say it's a blessing, because a lot of people coming from that position, of being an owner, stripped down to a line cook, it's like your world shatters,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But for me, it was very humbling because, you know, I thought I was like the best chef in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I saw the real world, and I'm like, man, I'm actually not good compared to these giants. Like, you know, when it comes to being a chef, it's like, do you know, okay, let's see, you get this whole salmon right here. How do you utilize this whole salmon? That way you spend $100 on this salmon and you
Get your money's
maximize
worth out of it. Yeah.
dollars from it, you know, not, you know, cleaning the bones and making salmon tartare and then using the bones to make a stock and using the scraps to make tartare and the fillets to make an entree.
Mm-hmm.
So using one component 3 times to maximize your profit. I didn't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I never did that, you know. So it was the best experience for me, you know, coming from here and coming down and going right back up. That was the best thing that could ever happen to me. Until this day, that same very chef, Chris, honestly, I haven't spoken to him in a while,
mm-hmm.
but he's like one of the few people that made a strong impact on my career,
mm-hmm.
I would say.
That's awesome.
Sure.
So you would say that it's in the restauranting industry, would you say it's hard to learn from a chef because he may not want to give out secrets or give out his recipes, or like befriend another chef because he could potentially become more popular than him or something like that? Like, I look at it as like, you're going to see the whole recipe anyway, you know, and you're going to see so why do you think that some chefs aren't, you know, maybe as helpful, or like, why is it so cutthroat in that industry if you sort of put all the ingredients out there for everybody to see anyway, you know?
Why is it so cutthroat? Let me see. People, it's just man. I would say it's barbaric to an extent. You know, it's a bunch of men in the kitchen,
mm-hmm.
And they're trying to prove themselves. That's exactly what it is. There's nothing else. There's no other way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the executive chef, if he's looking for a right-hand man, he's looking for a sous chef.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a room with a bunch of lions, and it's like, who's going to be that sous chef? So before I sit here there and help you out, I'm going to make sure the executive chef can see that I know everything in the kitchen. Not saying me as a person, because I would never do that, but that has happened to me 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'm going to let the executive chef know that I know everything in the kitchen so he can promote me. That's how a lot of people operate.
Mm-hmm.
I never get down like that, you know. I take pride in this. I don't want to say names, right? I worked in the kitchen, and this executive chef is a very talented chef. Young. This guy is freaking young.
Mm-hmm.
Younger than me. And right now he's managing 3 restaurants right now. What's his name? David. His name is David.
Mm-hmm.
Very good chef. Took me under his wing. And we were working at a very nice restaurant in Westport, Connecticut. We're killing it, the 2 of us. And he's like, you know, bringing in new people, and we're training everybody, and we're coming up, and we're just, you know, showing everybody what we know, you know. And then, you know, after that group of people in that one kitchen dispersed, you know, he's now running 4 restaurants, maybe 5.
Wow.
One girl who came from Burger King, she's now an executive chef, and apparently she's on Shop. I hope she won.
Mm-hmm.
So she's killing it. Another line cook is an executive chef somewhere else. So what I'm getting at is we all came together with the idea of making each other better, and it worked. That plan worked. Yep. Every chef that was in that restaurant became an executive chef, and they made a great name for themselves. But a lot of the time when people don't pull together like that, you know, it's a weird environment, you know, and it doesn't have to be a crab in a barrel type of situation.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like once everybody's on the same page and you genuinely obviously you want the best for yourself. You want to do well, you want to succeed, you want to be successful, you want to make money. But at the end of the game, like it's you're all on the same team. So I want you to do well. I want me to do well, because like the more you step your game up, the more I'm going to step my game up, the more like the food's going to taste better. You're going to get like critiques coming in, reviewing the spot, and everybody's going to win. You know, it's not like, so if you're on your own shit, it's like, oh, Kev's doing his own thing, and then it just doesn't work, and ultimately it's just negative for everybody. So if you genuinely want everybody to succeed, it will happen, in my opinion, and that's what it looks like it's happening with you and your team. Sure. So you mentioned some people on Chopped, and again, I hope people are cool with, like, are just listening, because the mouth doesn't line up with it. So I would say just listen through the audio. So if you're cool with it, Kev, we could keep rocking.
Let me know am I straight? How do I fix it?
I don't know, to be honest.
All right, cool. Well, let's just rock it out.
Yeah.
My computer's old. That's probably what it is.
No, I think I got the oldest MacBook Pro in Apple history, man. I've been holding on to this thing since '88. But so I want to take it more so to present day now, because I've seen you on, you know, TV shows. I've seen you do private events. Where are you currently at right now? Like, what's Chef Kevin doing tomorrow? Like, what's your current status
right now? So what I did, I want to say 8 months ago, I stepped out of the mainstream culinary world. Mm-hmm. The business it's different, you know. It's like, I'll just give you a quick rundown of like the last 2 years. You know, I jumped into a restaurant in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. I was in bad shape. I was the 5th chef, and the numbers were bad. I jumped in, took it to another level. You know, I took the ship from sinking back to afloat, and it was up to the rest of the business to make it profitable. But I had the kitchen in line. So I ran the restaurant for about 2 years. It was almost $1.5 million investment. So it was a lot of money poured into that place. So I took it to profitable. Well, I took it to they weren't losing in the kitchen,
which is a success.
Yeah, they were losing a lot. I'm talking about theft and waste and just a nut. It was something you would see on TV how bad it was.
Yeah.
So I thought I could change the restaurant around. I thought I could, you know, fully turn it around, get the reviews coming in. People are interested in the food and the staff, and make that place the it place in Connecticut. But they didn't have the right support as far as the staffing goes, management goes, and it was like I was the only one holding that place together. So the ownership decided to close the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And how they went about it was just like, I'm done. And I'm like, whoa, like, first of all, I'm redoing my whole kitchen in my house. Like, how are you just going to shut this project down like that?
Jeez.
Shut it down. A lot of people lost their jobs. And at that moment, I'm like, you know what? This happened to me. This is the first time it happened to me like that. In the restaurant business, I was able to foresee it happening, mm-hmm. and get out and warn, you know, my kitchen staff. But this time I didn't see it happening. So I said to myself, I'm just going to start up a food truck company. I started my own food truck because at the time I already had a catering company. Mm-hmm. So in order for my catering company to flourish, I need a vessel to spread the word about who I am, you know, what myself and my wife are capable of doing on a larger scale. And we created a food truck.
It's awesome.
Right now I have a food truck called EP Local.
Yeah, you're on Twitter, so check it out. And he'll drive to your crib and chef up whatever the hell you want.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, so we're on Twitter, EP_local. Mm-hmm. My catering page is called An Exquisite Experience, and that's when you get, you know, the fine dining, the full experience. You know, we're doing weddings, intimate dining experiences for two people up to 200 people. We bring the kitchen to your home. So that's what we like to specialize in. We do a lot of cool things. Like my wife comes in, she decorates the tables, she puts the table arrangements, the place settings, the chargers, floral decor, you name it, she mm-hmm. does. And I bring the food. We have servers. You know, it's a really cool business that we got going on here. So.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. How is it working with your wife?
Yo, it's great. It's
you gotta say, is she next to you? Does she gotta?
She's definitely no. Yo, she hates me. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I'm a nutcase. I don't care. I'm crazy. You know, it's like in my head you're telling me to answer emails, but in my head I'm doing a recipe. So it's like, pay attention, Kevin. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. So now I gotta like zone in. But I'm gonna be honest with you, that was probably the best thing I could have ever done. Just really being able to just be with my wife and have fun day in, day out. That's like the best. That's the best gift I could ever have.
Yeah,
So.
and how is it balancing? Because that's the biggest thing that I've heard too. Because my stepfather helps some restaurants and manages their books and stuff like that, and he says the biggest thing that chefs don't understand is like they could be the best chef in the world, but they don't understand the business side of it. They're not going to be successful ultimately, like because there's that other side of it that is like just as big a part of cooking. You got to know, like you said, how much food to order and not to order too much because it's going to go bad. So have you started to understand that a little bit more where you're at in your career?
Yeah, so my I have 2 degrees, maybe 3. Fuck, I don't even remember. Marketing, business management, and I think it's I don't remember what the last one is. So I was able to connect the 2 very, very quick.
Mm-hmm.
And the last part of being a chef, like the food and the decorative part of being a chef and the camaraderie in the kitchen, that shit's all cool. But that's like maybe I would say it's like 60% of it,
yep.
Or 60 or 40% of it. But the rest of being an executive chef is the numbers and the logistics and the ordering, the pars and the waste and keeping the numbers intact for the restaurant in order to make that place profitable.
Yep.
That's the most important thing. Do I have that down pat? To be honest with you, fucking incredible with that.
Nice.
I think that's probably one thing that I could say I'm very good at.
Mm-hmm.
I think because what I was able to realize was when I just working with a lot of great chefs, what I was able to realize was how I made so many mistakes with my own numbers over the years when I had my own restaurant. It always comes back to me like, man, if I had, did this and did that differently, so many things differently, maybe I'd be on my 5th restaurant right now.
But I also think a lot of stuff happens for a reason. I think I sort of live by that. So even if something doesn't go your way, I think ultimately if you stay at it and you stay focused and determined, it'll all swing back in your favor if you're doing the right things, which I've seen from you, like nothing but awesome things. And not that I'm anybody, but like just seeing from afar you doing your shit is like, it looks like you're on the right path and everything looks lined up. How is it different? Because I look at it as with the more going into people's kitchens and doing events for people. How is it cooking in different kitchens with maybe different utensils and all that stuff? Like, does that ever change, or is it almost just like a pot's a pot and that's what it's gonna be?
Nah, dude, it's fucking crazy. Sorry for cursing, right?
No, it's all good, man. Like I said, it's on a delay, so people could hear it first, and then actually the delay hurts you because they hear it first and then they see it again maybe 2 seconds later.
Dude, 2 weeks ago we did an event, right? This lady booked us. It was her own birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in her house, me and my sous chef, and we're ready to rock out. So we turn the oven on. She's like, "Oh, I was cleaning the appliance, and one of the burners don't work." I'm like, "Okay, that's not a big deal. I have 2 burners in the car. I have no problem to pull them out."
Mm-hmm.
So then she had surf and turf, and she had herb roasted chicken. So we needed the oven.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the oven on. We start prepping. We start going. The oven never got hot.
Oh.
So my sous chef is like, "Kev, the oven's not working." I'm like, "Oh, fuck." Long story short, we had to go next door and cook at the neighbor's house, bring it back, finish it over as if nothing happened.
Oh.
That was the first time in my career that I had ever experienced something like that. So,
was she like apologetic? Did she did she not ever touch her kitchen before?
Yeah, she was definitely apologetic. What she was trying to do, she never had this experience before. So It's called an exquisite experience because what we bring is something that you've never had before. Hopefully, that's our plan.
Mm-hmm.
So she was freaked out that she had a real chef coming over there. So she tried to make her house perfect.
Oh.
I was like, listen, I'd rather you just leave it how it was and I work around it than destroy your appliances and now I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, she shit the bed, man. She fucked up a lot of things, but we made it happen.
That's what I'm saying. I give you props for pulling an audible real quick and at least, making it work and being a success. So props to you for that. So on that end of the things, how is the food truck different from that? Because I almost look at food trucks as like the podcast world of the food industry, where it's just like it's blown up. But does it have opportunity to even blow up even more? Like, do you see more upside with the food truck aspect or the event side of your businesses? Or it doesn't even matter to you?
No, I think it's the food truck. The upside on the food truck is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I do in the food truck is like what you would get at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm braising duck. I am.
Wow.
I'm doing short rib. I'm doing jerk chicken. I'm doing specials. I'm doing pasta. I'm making my own pasta. I'm making soups daily. I'm treating my food truck as if it's a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come to the restaurant, the concept of our food truck is farm to truck.
Okay.
So my wife and I, we start our morning, 5, 6 in the morning. We're hitting the farms. We're getting local produce. We're gathering up together. We're
That's awesome.
Eating special. Going back on the truck and we're rocking out, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, fuck, did I lose the question again?
No. What I want to ask is like, what is a daily plan for the food truck? Like, where's it based out of? If there's people listening in Connecticut, because I know that's where you're at, is that where the food truck is? Does it move around? Does it have a home base? Where can someone pull up to the window and be like, dude, I heard you on Corin's World. Your audio was all fucked up because your mouth wasn't moving and stuff like that. But I wanted to check your food.
All right, so check this out. First of all, we're going to have to shoot this again on another note. I'm going to have to buy a computer, and I'm going to buy you a computer. I'm going to ship it over there so we have 2 brand new computers.
I'm down.
Fuck, I got a new one over here, too. I don't know where it is.
Well, you're definitely welcome back anytime when we're finished. But I think it's still – I think people – I don't know if people watch it more so as they just listen to it, so I think we're fine on that aspect. But back to the question, where can someone maybe in Connecticut find your –
So right now we're in 333 Lordship Boulevard in Stratford, Connecticut.
Okay.
So we're there Monday through Thursday.
Lordship, how do you spell out Lordship? Just
Lordship is Lordship.
Okay, Lordship.
Yeah. So we're there Monday through Thursday,
mm-hmm.
and on the weekends we travel. So my wife and I will hit up breweries. We'll go from New Jersey up Connecticut. So we'll go wherever we're allowed to, or wherever anybody wants us to go. So,
wow.
Yeah, we're mobile with it.
And what's that like? I mean, is that tough? Is it easy to just pull up to a brewery and cook your food, plug in, and go? Is that a hassle?
No, you know what it is? The hardest part is the truck, man. Fucking truck is huge.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that it's like, and it's a kitchen, so it's like you can't really whip around. It's just the maneuvering. Maneuvering the truck is the issue.
I'm sure.
It's hot oil back there.
Yep.
It's my appliances and stuff like that. But turning on, nah, dude. Everything is prepped in a refrigerator. Everything is labeled, and it's just like down to the T in containers. So it's just getting there, turning on, and rocking out.
And how do you find the places that you're going to pull up to? Are you just looking, maybe this brewery has a concert on Friday night, and you reach out and just say, hey, because I'm sure there's other food trucks that want to be there as well.
Yeah, so that part of the job is my wife's job.
Okay.
She is very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I don't, she reaches out to them Facebook, she calls them up, and, they ask, the hardest part about this business is getting on, like a brewery's rotation,
mm-hmm.
So I'm a new food truck. The new guy coming on the scene is hard,
mm-hmm.
It's like, we don't really know this guy. I don't know what his food's like. I don't know about his following. So it's hard. But my food's incredible, so I don't have no worry about that. My thing is, you get me in the door, I'll win anybody.
Make the best, yeah.
So she go ahead.
And what exactly would you say like your main style of food is? Is it Caribbean based?
No, it's modern American.
Okay.
So yeah, it's modern American. So we have one Caribbean item, which is our jerk chicken taco, which is out of this world.
Hmm.
Then we do a lot of other things, So based on right now in the season, it's duck season for me. So we're doing a miso duck taco. So my influence is all over for the most part.
It's awesome.
I trained with a French chef, Italian chef, Latin chef, British chef, my mom in the Caribbean, cool American chefs, and I just blended it all together.
So who's got the best food out of all the chefs you work with? What culture?
Ooh. All right, so I'm gonna take my mom out of it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do the Caribbean side because
Uh-huh.
that's my go-to. I would say Italian is my favorite
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
by far. It's Italian.
I was just talking to Kyle about this. I think, obviously, like Mexican food is banging.
Yeah,
Indian, I'm not a fan, but it holds its own. It's got so many specialty dishes. But Italian food, there's so many dishes that are just banging. That just like
yeah,
chicken parm, chicken marsala. Like there's so many variations of just one base food, and that's
yeah.
how you know it's just a banger.
Exactly. Again, and I don't want people to fucking look at me and hate me, but I grew up in an Italian restaurant,
Uh huh.
so it's definitely that's where uh that
Where the
holds a
bias comes from.
place. Yeah, that holds a special place in my heart, man. It's like when you look at here's the thing, like you can eat a cacio pepe is like my all-time favorite. It's
I don't
like
even know what the hell that is, but if that's your favorite, I need to try it.
yeah, it's simple. It's Parmesan, crushed peppercorn,
Hmm.
and done the right way. So okay. So here's a movie you guys got to watch. You got to watch Burnt. Burnt is like,
I feel like I've heard of that.
yeah, that's
That's not the one with Bradley Cooper, right?
yes.
Oh,
Bradley,
okay. I've seen that one.
fucking watch Burnt. I think if you want to know what the kitchen's really like,
Yeah.
watch Burnt. That's what it is.
Really?
It depends which restaurant you go to. If you go to a nice fine dining restaurant, that's exactly what it is.
Uh-huh.
You got that chef that's just like chewing you out, but he's trying to make the best out of you.
Yeah.
How you look up to your executive chef is exactly that way.
Hmm.
So there's a scene where the girl is making a cacio pep, and he whispered in her ear, he's like, "Toast your peppercorn for flavor." So how I was making it before, I never toasted my peppercorn. So I'm like, is he fucking bullshitting?
Hmm.
And I researched it. I was like, holy shit. Toasting your peppercorn is literally the best flavor that you could ever have in a cacio pep. But a lot of people don't fucking know that.
That's wild that you got one of your staple favorite foods knowledge from Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. And hats off to Bradley Cooper because
He did a good job in that movie.
Whoever taught him about that cacio pep, man, they knew their shit, and it's fucking awesome.
Do you have what's your and your wife's style when you're going out to a restaurant?
Oh man, I'm terrible. I don't trust anybody. I get disappointed very fast.
Really?
Like I was telling you, I'm sure you've heard of Alinea in Chicago, right?
I haven't, but I'm the worst with that type of shit.
Okay, so this dude is literally, to me, he's like,
The Jordan?
yeah, he's Michael Jordan.
Really?
Yeah, you could see him on what's that? Chef's Table
Top
on
Chef
Netflix.
or something? Oh,
He wouldn't do that. He's like Chef's Table on Netflix. He's like the god in the culinary world. Like,
okay. I know Chef's Table because I actually went to a spot in Philly. It was I don't know if it was on Chef's Table, but it was on some special. It was like this little, I think it was either Colombian or a Mexican spot on the corner.
oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
And they made this like braised, it was like pork and all this shit. It was just so banging, man. And it was this lady who's an immigrant who
There you go.
just
Okay.
she just provides to the whole neighborhood, and the spot is popping now.
Yeah, that's gangster. Yeah.
But sorry,
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
back to the Chicago chef.
Yeah, so that dude's dope. His fucking restaurant is, I forgot where we were going with this, but his restaurant is sold out. Like,
Mhm.
you have to book his restaurant to get a reservation for his place like a year or plus in advance. And he has 3 Michelin stars, so that's like,
Yeah.
it's like the Grammys in the culinary world.
Yeah.
So he's a big fucking deal. You asked me a question and I totally forgot. I went in a different direction.
Oh, your like style when you go out to eat. Like, are you?
Oh, there you go. So I don't really trust it. I get very mad. I sit down, I look at somebody's special, they have a nice duck. I order the duck, they fucking overcook the duck. Now I'm pissed.
Really?
Don't overcook the fucking duck. Or I look at or I get a fillet and it's like, I'm a black dude. Just because it doesn't say chef on my forehead, when I say I want my steak medium rare, don't fucking overcook it because I'm black. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like every time I order steak, it's like they overcook my steak. Like, what the fuck, man? It's nuts.
And so you don't have any sympathy for the chefs being one of them?
No. I'm telling you, my wife has to hold me back. She's like, Kevin, stop. Like, I go very far. It's like, I can go back there and show you how to do it. And they always look at me like, no, you can't. I'm like,
I actually can, yeah.
That's it. But it never gets that far. Here's the thing. This is a true story. I went out to eat with my wife for brunch, right?
Uh-huh.
Very, I'm gonna say it's like a mom and pop brunch place,
mm-hmm.
and we loved it. Going in, it's like on the water, super sexy. The waitress, the server gave us great attention, and I ordered a hollandaise. I ordered an eggs Benedict.
Yep.
And the hollandaise sauce was broken. I'm like, oh fuck! And then the egg wasn't poached. It was microwaved. I'm like, no way. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am. I'm like, listen, this isn't right. At the time, I was running 3 restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lying. I was running my catering business, the restaurant in Stanford, and I was opening up a restaurant in Queens, New York. I'm like, listen, I can help your kitchen staff out. I will come here one day out of the week. I'll train your staff. I don't want any money. I just don't want you to ever serve this shit again. She said, I'll talk to the chef. I'm so glad you're willing to help because I don't like the food either. The chef never called me back. He thought I was insulting him. I'm like, dude, listen, this is not fair. It's like, I just paid my money for this shit. Like, how could you, So when it comes to eating out, I'm the burger and fry guy.
Yeah.
Or I'm the chicken tenders and shit. Unless I'm going to a really, really nice restaurant, then I'll explore. But if your restaurant isn't like on it's not up there on my radar, I'm the burger and fry guy.
Have you ever looked back to see? Have you ever tried that restaurant again, or?
No, I never went back.
No, I'd be curious if you went back, if they changed anything, if the chef was still there, or.
No, I think the chef was an owner, so it's
okay.
It's hard. It's hard to crack through to some of these people when they feel like they're doing everything the right way.
How are you with like Yelp and people reviewing your stuff that might not necessarily, like, I don't know what a braised duck is and how it should be cooked and this and that, where maybe if I take a bite I'm like, ooh, but in reality it could be the most banging thing to like a food connoisseur.
All right, so Yelp, I fucking hate Yelp.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Yelp is listening, but I hate you guys. I have maybe on my catering business, all of my Yelp reviews are 5-star.
Uh-huh.
I only show 3 reviews, so fuck Yelp. Just putting it out there. I hate you guys. But I love it. You come review my food anytime.
Uh-huh.
If you tell me something sucks, just, be on point with your shit and say, hey, listen, this is too sweet. This didn't match that. And I'll make adjustments. I don't.
So you're open to criticism if somebody comes at you with some legit shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, listen, I'm not perfect.
Uh-huh.
I fuck up all the time. Like, I did an event for a client.
Mm-hmm.
He had 15 people had fillets. He had the best kitchen I've ever seen in my life. I turned the oven on, and it instantly incinerated anything. And I didn't know. I'm like, a typical 375 in his oven was like 500 degrees.
Oh, wow.
And it was brand new. So I put the steaks in, and I started getting all the plates ready. I came back in 3 minutes, and everything was overcooked.
Oh.
So shit happens,
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm not perfect, but, you tell me, hey, listen, chef, everything was good. Steak sucked. You overcooked it. You're absolutely right. I'm not going to. If it's. And
L's a L. Sometimes we got to take them.
Exactly. There you go. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah. So let me just ask you briefly about the celebrity Chef Kev. So you've been on some talk shows. How did that come about? How do you see that progressing? Because I feel like, from what I know from Kyle, once you sort of break into that world, it's a good little niche there where they'll keep asking you back. It might invite you to somewhere else. A producer knows a guy from Food Network. How's that been? And talk us through that.
So a chef, a good friend of mine, she said, Kevin, your energy is incredible in the kitchen. Let me patch you through to somebody, on the TV, on the air, and see how it goes. So I did it. I was sweating, losing my mind, and they loved my chemistry. So from there, they call me, anytime they call my phone or they call my wife's phone, and they're like, we want Kevin back on, we just go. So it just went from, that one time just really, it took somebody else believing in me again, and me just doing my best and, get an opportunity to show the world what I can do.
Is it tough to be on those shows because you're not cooking your whole meal in that moment, right? You maybe make some stuff beforehand and then show them a little bit of just like the overview?
Yeah, so it's tough. It's tough. So in that particular case, let me see it. I've been on TV quite a few times. And this particular segment with them is great because they have all the cameras around you and they get very different aerial shots, and that's great. One time I had a guy with a camera and he's like this on my face. I'm like, dude, you expect me not to stutter right now? I can't blink right now. So that experience is good. It's you just have to really relax yourself and be as genuine and be as cool as you want and be who you are, and then people will take to you. Just today, somebody called me up today and was like, I saw your segment. How do you braise the short rib? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, this is the business line. This is not personal, but I walked her through it. This old lady, she might have been, she was an older lady.
Just a random lady called you up?
It's a random lady, and sometimes I don't even know how people get my.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how the hell would she get your info like that?
Yeah, it's all out there. I'm not even. So she called me, and I was on the phone with her for 20 minutes. I walked her through on how to braise it, and then she was like, I need that recipe personally, and then she asked me to get her the cut of meat that I had. So I'm like, all right, just come to the truck next week and I'll give it to you. So
that's what's up. You could sort of add that as like a third tripod leg, is just like a mobile chef. Like, call me up.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, eventually if it starts taking off, you charge a little bit. It's like an old cell phone. It's like 25 cents per minute or something like that. But you start giving them the tips over the phone. I mean, like, I don't know if that's been done before or not, but that sounds like obviously I'll call my mom maybe and ask her for a recipe, but like, I don't know in the food world if that's a thing, if there's a mobile chef that you could call up and sort of just be like, hey, I'm cooking this braised meat. What would you do right here? And you got to just on the fly fix their meal.
In there, man. Maybe we should develop an app and let them go straight to me.
Could be the move.
Balls, man. I'm with it. I don't really care.
How have you received, like, do you see positive feedback from the TV appearance, or is it like, do people reach out to you from whatever exposure you've gotten on the TV networks?
Yeah, so I've probably done like 8 segments, right? So 4 with my catering company and 4 with the food truck. I've gotten the most feedback from the food truck.
Okay.
I don't know what it is about the tangible place and people actually seeing it, but they really gravitate towards knowing where my truck is versus, okay, this guy is a catering company. So it's different when they can actually see me versus, okay, this guy's a catering company and I don't know if this guy's legit or not.
Yeah.
So we definitely get a lot of feedback from the TV show.
And also, I feel like that could be a good selling point for you and your wife, is just like, the food truck's been on Channel 11, Channel 9, whatever, it gives it that credibility of like, you're not just some bozo who's got a truck, like you've actually done some shit with it,
Absolutely, for sure.
Is there any future plans to potentially, I don't know how the game, like not game shows, but like these TV shows work. Like my cousin's actually a chef out in Colorado, and he was on Cutthroat Kitchen, I think it was, with
Is that Flay? Is that Bobby Flay?
No, it's Alton.
Alton.
Alton Brown, I think his name is, or something like that.
Yeah, it's Alton.
Yeah, he's like the host of it, and there's 3 of them, and I used to you actually like the show a lot. I stopped watching. I don't even know if it's still on the air, but he would come out with like a gingerbread house and something like that, and he'd be like, chefs, your task is to make a gingerbread blah blah blah, and they'd have to go with whatever utensils and cook up something crazy in that moment. So my cousin was on that show. I forgot how he got put on with it, but he enjoyed it. But my question is there any plans for you to ever try to get on any of these shows and do something like that?
A lot of people tell me to go on Chopped. I really don't know. Really, at one point, it's like I really wanted to be that guy, like on Chopped. But right now, it doesn't really matter to me.
I feel like it's like a nice drop in the bucket, but it's just like it's just a quick flash. Like if you've got your sustainable business that you're running, that's just the fun shit to do, like almost like a college experience for a day or something.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather build like a really true organic following than build something off of, Chopped, and then it's like it's hot for a day, but that it's dead the next day. I don't really want that.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that. I think once you've established yourself as super successful in what you're doing here, maybe you want to slide off and do that to have some a nice tape of yourself doing it, then that's cool. So the plan for the future is just to continue the food truck, continue the event business, and just see where it goes. Maybe open up a restaurant one day, or not even thinking that far into the future.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna do a restaurant. My wife wants a bar, so we'll probably do like a bar somewhere overseas, and then
overseas.
Yeah, she wants to do like a bar on like an island, like a nice resort bar.
That's what's up.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then I really want to indulge into like a fine dining. So here's my dream, right? I hope some fucking asshole doesn't beat me to the punch, but it always happens like that. But it is what it is. When you think of chefs that are killing it, there aren't any Caribbean chefs with a fine dining restaurant. Actually, there are. But there are not too many Caribbean chefs with fine dining restaurants that take away the stigma of the food being, not healthy, too spicy, just, too much.
I agree with you. No disrespect to Caribbean chefs, but all I've known is just going into like White Plains on a corner. There's a spot, and it's just like a quick little, shelf, and you get the food is bomb as fuck, but there's no like fancy sit down Caribbean spot. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really what I want to do. I'm really, every day I like put some weird idea into a book, and I try and figure out how I could change the game somehow or someday whenever I get an opportunity to.
And what books are you reading? Because you said that you'd come home and read a book. Like what are some if for any chefs out there, foodies, what are some things you're reading, podcasts you're listening to where you expand your knowledge?
There we go. I got some books right here. All right. It's a must-have book in your shelf. It's the French Laundry.
Laundry Cookbook by Thomas Keller.
Thomas Keller, man, that guy is awesome. Definitely should have that in your book.
So is that recipes or is that advice and tidbits and?
This is recipes from like Michelin star chefs. That's
okay.
Really, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I had an opportunity to go back, I would definitely train at like one of the Michelin star restaurants, and I'd just stay there for like 3 years. But that time for me is definitely gone. I don't have it in me anymore. So I have this book. I got a lot of books around me right now. Let's see what else I got. The Science of Good Cooking. I got that right by my leg. I have, what's this right here? The Flavor Bible. Oh my God, that's incredible. You got it. I think everybody should have the Flavor Bible. That's just.
And those are constantly just getting opened by you, checking out, like if you're in the mood to be a Michelin mood or in a flavor mood, or how are you picking what you're going to look at?
When I get bored, I just flip through all the books. I just flip through. Let me give you an example. What did I do? I think it was this French Laundry book, or you know what? It's actually there's a book called that I have downstairs. It's from Massimo Bottura. It's an Italian chef. I think it's his cookbook, or it could be one of these books. I don't fucking know. But I was in a restaurant one time and I'm like, how do I elevate the Caesar salad? So I opened up a cookbook, or it could be two different cookbooks. I don't fucking know, whichever one.
Mm-hmm.
But where I was at, they'd never seen it before. So we did a grilled Caesar salad, and we did a cured egg yolk. So instead of having Parmesan, we just cured an egg yolk. We just left it on salt for about 3 days, flipped it over, made the egg yolk hard as a rock.
Mm-hmm.
So when servers went to the table, they shaved it onto their romaine lettuce, their grilled romaine lettuce. So instead of giving them a salty Parmesan experience, they got a salty egg experience. And it blew a lot of people away. And I was just opening up 2 fucking cookbooks. And
that's dope as fuck, man. That's like, I'm not even eating that. But like, if my chef did that, I would be like, holy shit. At first I'll be like, what the? And then I'll be like, that's crazy. Like, you just need something different. Like, people just want different, you know? And it doesn't matter if it's even good or not. Like, just the fact that you're trying different things, like, is what people want, you know?
That's true.
Obviously, it has to be good, I guess. Like, there has to be a theory behind it. You can't just put, like, some peanut butter on a, you know, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to make an analogy of. But, like, there's got to be some thought process behind it, like you said. The saltiness with the cheese, and you did that with the egg instead. So I give you a lot of props for that, because that's the shit that people are looking for nowadays, that separates you from just a dude shaving the cheese on top of the salad.
Exactly. Yeah. And it gives a level of showmanship at the table.
Yes.
So it's service, and, you know, just to see your server come out clean and, you know, add that final touch on your dish. I actually got a wedding off of that before, too. I did that at a tasting at a wedding, and a lady just booked me like that. She was like, I've never seen anything like that done before. And
that's what I'm saying. Just different. I mean, like, it's just different. And I think that's where we are now as people, is just like, you want unique, you want different. I think when people are hiring, they're looking for that. You know, it's just someone that thinks outside the box, that isn't just the same, you know, in 5 years I want to be the president of the company or something like that. Like, just the straightforward same answers that has always been it. People with tattoos, just all different funky stuff that people are doing now is what a lot of people gravitate towards.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right, man. I got a bunch of tattoos. That screwed my life up, too.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
It's just that it's the
perception people
chef
have.
Look, the perception of a chef. It's like tattoos out. So I worked with this. I'm not sure if you got to go, but this.
No, it's good.
This Latin chef. His name is Aaron Sanchez,
mm-hmm.
and you know, it was like my first take on being around a celebrity chef, and then you know, he had his shirt off, and he had so much tattoos on him, but each tattoo represented something unique to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was dope, man. It's
Fuck
like
yeah.
hand covered up, and every piece of ink on him told a story, and it was the coolest thing in the world. And what I took from that was like, you know what? I want somebody to look at my arm. I want them to be able to tell. I want to be able to tell them my story on my arm. So that's what I'm building.
Yeah. So I mean, so every tattoo you have must have some meaning behind it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's dope as fuck. I think that's awesome. I got one tattoo. I don't think I have the balls to do a sleeve or anything like that. But if they all have meaning, I mean, like, I think that's awesome. I don't think anyone should, like, who's to say, you know, if anyone has ever given you grief for having tattoos or giving you a hard time, it's just like, well, fuck that person.
Yeah, for sure.
Last thing I want to ask you, I had a debate with Kyle on this, and someone asked the question, and this is going to take you into your comfort food a little bit. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
It's not, right?
No.
I totally agree with you. There's people out there that will say it's a sandwich because of the bread and 2 sides of it.
Yeah, but a sandwich is closed.
Yeah, but I think they look at it as like the bread and there's meat, and like, I guess people, I don't know the other side of the argument. I like that we agree on this.
Yeah, no, I don't think a hot dog is a sandwich.
Okay, good.
Fucking hot dog.
Yeah, a hot dog's a hot dog. It's a totally different category, and that's it. That's settled. Kev, I appreciate it, man. You're definitely welcome back. I hope you don't watch it on Friday and it annoys you with the mouth, you know, pause. But
Yo, you should definitely get my brother on here. He's got some crazy stories. You'd be interested if you want to hear that.
Absolutely, man. I already reached out to him, like I said. So he's
That's
already
funny too. He's an asshole too. Chris is an asshole.
Yeah, man. I'd be more than willing to talk to him. I'd be interested in his stories. I've got a lot of respect for police officers. Is he in New Rochelle? Is he a New Rochelle police officer?
No, he's in the city.
Oh, that's even tougher, man. I even have a lot more respect for him being an NYPD.
Yeah.
But anything else you want to add? Anything you want to say? The audio's good right now. The mouth matches up with the words, so let it fly right now.
Sweet. Yo, listen, Corin, I really appreciate you having me, man. Thank you very much. I wish you much success.
Appreciate that.
I hope we could chop it up soon. I'll definitely fly out there. I don't know, whenever I get a chance to, but that'd be fucking dope.
For sure.
Tell Kyle I said what's up too, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like if you're in Chicago, please let me know. I will try. There's some bigwigs that I work with that maybe could plug away at the restaurant or whatever. Just give me the heads up. But I'm gonna do a little bit of more research. What do you know the name of the restaurant, or what was the chef's name again?
The restaurant's called Alenia.
Alenia.
And it's Grant, and I can't ever say his last name.
Google will help me out with that one.
Yeah.
But okay, so an exquisite experience. ANEXQUISPERIENCE on Instagram. And then if you're in Connecticut, because there's got to be one or two people that listen to this that's in fucking Connecticut. Stop by the food truck.
Some dude followed me before we logged on, so
that's what's up. Yeah, if you're in Connecticut, check the food truck, and then tweet at me, tweet at Chris, tweet at Kev, and let us know your thoughts on the food, because I'll check it when I'm back in New York, and hopefully we can link up next time I'm back.
Yo, man, that'd be dope, man. I really appreciate you, brother.
For sure, I appreciate you, and keep doing your thing, man, because I love watching you on Instagram, and I love seeing you do your thing, dude.
Thank you.
All right, peace out.
Appreciate it, brother. Have a good night.